What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the July 2025 Arizona Bass Fishing Report. Got a lot of good stuff to talk about this month. Fishing's been solid. We're in a very solid summer pattern. Things are consistent and the fish are biting. So excited to talk about everything. Before we do any of that and go any further, as always, this fishing report is brought to you by Hatch Toyota in Show Low, Arizona, Spencer Construction, and Signature Gate Systems. If you guys are interested in a vehicle, give Hatch Toyota a call. If you are looking to work with a great company, you're in the construction business, check out Spencer Construction. They're an angler-owned company. And lastly, Signature Gate Systems. They do all different types of welding, work on automated gates and stuff like that. So if you work with an HOA or anything like that, make sure to give Kevin Finley at Signature Gate Systems a call. So let's get into the fishing here. It's been a good month. I did a little traveling towards the end of June, got home right at the 1st of July, and I've been fishing most days since the month started. I've been on several of the lakes, and it's been good. It's crazy, and I talk about it every year, but everyone wants to talk about great fishing in the spring. I would argue that the summer fishing in Arizona, when you can get dialed in, is as good as any time of year. I know it's hot. I'm sitting here sweating my butt off in the garage right now. I know it's hot. It's maybe not the most pleasant time for us to be out there, but fishing is great right now. June, July, August, even into September, if you can be dialed in, you can absolutely whack the fish. So, don't be afraid to go fishing right now. Don't be afraid of the heat. Just go early. If you want, you can get off the water early. A lot of my guide trips, we're doing, a max of 6 hours instead of the usual 8. So, get out there because fishing's really good. Let's start at the top of the salt chain at Roosevelt. Water's dropping really fast, and you're going to see that's a trend on a lot of our lakes right now. The water's pretty much falling on every lake. We don't have a lot coming in right now. And, it's easy to look at the sky and say, hey, come on, monsoons, fill these lakes up. But the reality of that is monsoons don't fill our lakes up. Snowmelt fills our lakes up. So, the monsoons are good overall. Like, we all want them to come in, and, it's good for the desert. It's good for everybody, and it's better to have some water than none. But, a great monsoon season isn't going to fill the lake up. What it might do is slow the falling down. So I'm all for that. But all the lakes right now are pretty much slowly dropping, other than the lakes, Apache, Canyon, Saguaro, which they will maintain. But Roosevelt's dropping, Bartlett's dropping, Pleasant's dropping, and Roosevelt's falling fast. Every time I get out there, I look and I say, whoa, it's down again, and it's been like that all year. Fishing's still good. The spots the fish have been on are changing. If you were out there 2 weeks ago and you whacked them on a certain spot offshore, out deep, they probably moved by now. So I like that. It keeps it fresh, keeps you on your toes. It really shines for the guys that are able to go out there and consistently find new fish, try to figure out where they're going. And that's always the most important thing in fishing in general. Find out, finding the fresh schools of fish, the fresh places the fish are going to, rather than fishing last week's bite. So, that's in these reports, it's easy to get hung up on what was good last month. But we try to look forward a little bit because, as things change, the bite's going to change, even in a consistent summertime of year. So anyways, let's get back into Roosevelt. 55%, it's about 40 feet down, 39 feet down, it's a long way down, but it's still a big lake, still a ton of water, and a lot of fish congregated in that little bit of water right now. So, or in that lot of water right now. We've been catching our fish on all kinds of different stuff. If you are after the big ones, we've been catching some of those cranking, throwing plastics, throwing big spoons, stuff like that. A lot of numbers, also on the drop shot and even topwater. Early in the morning, we had a pretty good topwater day last week, throwing little poppers, whopper plopper, Chapo like this, a plopper style bait. This is the Berkley Chapo 105. Really, really good way to cover water. We caught our fish on a smaller bullet pop. I think it's the bullet pop 60. It's the smallest size bullet pop, but that's what we caught our fish on the other day. And the topwater action is going to die a lot quicker this time of year. Like in the springtime, in the fall, you can throw it all day. This time of year, you're going to throw that topwater for the first hour of daylight, and then after that, put it down, go deep. With the falling water especially, a lot of fish are starting to slide out, so get on those ledges, get on those breaks, the main lake stuff. As far as drop shot stuff goes, Morning Dawn's such a good color. This is a Berkeley bottom hopper right there in Morning Dawn. That's gonna catch them. A little mini power worm, a 4-inch power worm. You know, I throw when I'm around more shad, I throw the Morning Dawn. If I'm somewhere where I think the fish are eating more bluegills, I'll throw that power worm, especially in green pumpkin. Sometimes they'll dip that tail in chartreuse to give it more of that bluegill look. Great way to get numbers. And then again, if you're bigger fish, a bigger piece of plastic, fatty bottom hopper, Magnum hit worm, a big power worm, a big flutter spoon, a big crankbait. Just the bigger stuff is gonna catch the bigger fish generally at Roosevelt. But it's all about getting offshore, and you'll find you'll fish several places and catch a bunch of little ones, and then you get on one place and it's got a lot of big fish. And we've caught a lot of big fish over the last 2 months out there. As many big fish as I've caught on that lake in a long time. So it's pretty impressive. If you're really into live scope, you can shake a jig head minnow, something like this. There's just a lot of ways to do it right now, but the main thing is get out there offshore after the sun's up. Anywhere in that, the more the water drops, the less cover you're going to have in the water, the more fish are going to want to push deep. Anywhere in that 15 to 30 foot range. Last year, there were a lot of fish in 25 to 30, and I'm starting to see that again, which is deep for the summer. A lot of times that 18, 20, 22 is a really good summertime depth on that lake. Last couple years, they've definitely, like, the bigger population of fish seems like it's been a little bit deeper than that. So are there fish in 20? Yeah. Are there fish in 1? Yeah. But there's more. You'll find one depth where there's just a bigger concentration of fish. So don't be afraid to go out there as deep as 30 or 32 feet right now at Roosevelt. Down below Roosevelt at Apache, really, really good again. Had an excellent day there yesterday. There's a little bit of algae still in the river, not golden algae, nothing that's going to kill fish, but that green algae that everyone's been talking about. Seemed like that pretty much faded out before you got to Burnt Corral. So like the dam to Burnt Corral, you got a little bit of that algae. Burnt Corral south, no algae. Water looked good. Fishing was good. Lots of fish on walls, lots of fish on the offshore structure, stuff like that. Just a excellent, healthy lake right now. There's an insane amount of bluegill out there, like more bluegill than I've ever seen, which is great bass food. And we noticed it. You get around those bluegill, there's big bass nearby, so whether you're getting bit by them, seeing them on your scope, whatever, when you're around the bluegill, you're going to get bites. You can catch them a lot of different ways. We did a little bit of reaction fishing, had a couple on chatterbaits yesterday up shallow because of the bluegill, but really the main deal was plastics. Drop shot, big shaky head, big worm. Those were the mainstays for us yesterday. Once you get down below Roosevelt this time of year, Saguaro, Canyon, Apache, they love slow stuff. It's what they do. They're Florida strain fish and they want it slow. So anything on the bottom, whether that's a jig or a Texas rig, a drop shot, get something that's going to be on the bottom, a free rig, and fish it slow, and that's how you're going to catch your fish. So pretty cool. Below that, Canyon, water's okay there. It doesn't look the greatest, doesn't look the worst. Fishing's not the best, it's not the worst. The best thing about it, when I went out there last time, I was the only one out there fishing. So Canyon is always a player. I definitely am not going to act like you're going to catch as many at Canyon as you will at either of the lakes above or below it. But it's a player, it's there, and there's fish biting for sure. You get in the right area, you can catch fish, and you can catch a good one too. So below Canyon, Saguaro's been really good. Got a couple more guide trips coming out there this week. If you get out to Saguaro, kind of like what I said at Apache, you don't need to go super deep. You can catch fish on reaction, but you're going to catch more if you fish slow. You can literally just go down the banks, or you can be real precise and fish offshore structure, ledges and drops and stuff like that. But again, you don't have to go super deep. That's definitely the biggest thing I'm seeing out there. Fishing slow, throwing that drop shot, throwing a Texas rig, a free rig. Deep crankbait's always a player there this time of year, a Carolina rig. They're all fish catchers, and fishing's been solid there as well. Over to Pleasant, water started to drop out there, so it is still, you know, relatively high, but it's on the way down. The fish are pushing out to their main lake stuff. Definitely, you know, the main lake points, humps, islands, that's all going to be good with a drop shot, free rig, jig. If you get up into the, you know, up towards the river or, you know, any of the bays and arms and stuff like that, really look for like the shade, the bluff walls and stuff like that when the sun's high. There's topwater action to be had early in the morning. Again, throwing something like a chopo, throwing a buzz bait, throwing a popper, little swim bait. But once the sun gets high, you know, even though our lakes don't get as hot as some of the southeastern shallow lakes, pick up the drop shot, free rig, jig, Carolina rig, fish slow. Look for areas that have a lot of crawfish. That's a huge deal this time of year at Pleasant. You know, find that good rock that's got crawfish. When you catch a fish, look down his throat. I almost promise you're going to see crawfish antenna sticking out of its throat. They're eating craws out there big time right now. Over at Bartlett, water's low and it's dropping, but always a good place to go get bit. You know, little stuff. They eat a lot of those little bitty shad this time of year, so small stuff, bitty topwaters, little bitty swim baits, small stuff. That's what's going to help you catch a lot of fish and match the shad this time of year. Clear is a big deal for me. I like to throw clear with my topwater baits on Bartlett right now, just because it gives the fish kind of it's an illusion to them. They don't know how big it is, right? Like, it's hard to throw something as small as the shad they're eating, but if you can throw a clear topwater, they don't know how big it is. They just think it's something, and they're going to smash it. So, you know, right on the bank or keep your eyes peeled in open water. They'll come up and chase bait out in the open water. And if they stay up long enough, you can get out there and catch them just like boiling striper. And then again, you know, as that sun starts to come up, slow it down, get on that deeper rock, the points, the rock piles, boulders, stuff like that, and you're going to catch a lot of fish on a drop shot and a jig there too. If you're trying to get a little bit bigger average fish, throw a jig. If you're just trying to catch lots of fish, throw that drop shot. That's really all I've got. I have not been over to Alamo, not been to Colorado River, so I just don't have too much that I can give on that right now. But if you guys are interested in a guide trip, make sure to check out my website, joshbertrandfishing.com. If you're looking to learn how to better utilize your electronics, especially like this time of year and in the winter time when the fish do go deep, I can help you catch more fish doing that. So drop me an email, azangler@gmail.com. Or go to my website. You can contact me through there as well. Thanks again for tuning in, and stay cool out there, guys. Talk to you later.